did you make of Mr. Metcalfe when you first met him?
He was okay, but once I realised what he was really like, well, let's just say I had a very low opinion of him.
So it's fair to say you formed a negative opinion of him almost immediately?
Well, my gran changed right before my very eyes. Suddenly she was timid, like a mouse.
A mouse who stabbed someone with a bottle. Odd analogy, isn't it?
Well, he took all her freedoms away from her. Like her bank cards, her passwords. He put his name on everything that was hers. The house, Gran's business.
Do you normally make quick judgments about people?
No. But then again, I don't normally have to call the police to get background checks on them because of how they're controlling my Gran.
That has nothing to do with the night in question. Isn't it right you always had it in for him?
He's evil.
Must have been tough for you after your father's death. You're all on your own. And suddenly, well, would it be fair to say you were no longer centre of attention?
That has nothing to do with...
Second best.
This isn't about me. If she was going out with a decent bloke, I'd be over the moon.
And she'd be attacking him, some might say. I think that'd be a fair enough assumption, don't you?
No.
Because the problem here is that, interesting and provocative as your claims might be, and your bandying about of words like evil, fine, great, fill your boots. But at the end of the day, you weren't there on the night of the attack, were you? So you can't help the jury with what happened or why.
Of course I care. But you're 9. Can't keep wandering off like this.
I don't make a habit of it.
I know.
And this is my brother's funeral. Well, he's more or less my brother. You said we're family. Families come in all shapes and sizes. That's what you said.
Correct. But
it's okay. I know when I'm not wanted.
I know. You are wanted. You know, grown-ups say all sorts of things when they're upset. You know, Leanne's just lost her little boy. This is the most upset she'll ever be. Stay. Come in there with me. We'll stand at the back.
We have planted this tree as a lasting, living memorial to Oliver. Somewhere to come and think and remember. For thousands of years, across many cultures, people have planted trees in memory of loved ones. And now Oliver is part of that great tradition.
You saw Mr. Metcalfe burning all her worldly goods on the bonfire.
Yes, absolutely. It was very upsetting, actually.
And what possessions of Yasmin's did you actually see burning on the famous bonfire? Describe what you could see.
Well, I didn't actually see anything because it was in a bin with tall sides.
Yet you somehow magically knew what was inside. Can you see through solid walls?
No, of course not, but the fumes, they were noxious. Like he was burning something that he shouldn't have been.
Are you a scientist, Mrs. Metcalfe?
Well, I did do chemistry at school.
Then how do you know it contained all of Mrs. Metcalfe's things?
Because she told me.
Thank you. That will be all.
Your Honor, I'm pleased to say that one of our original witnesses now feels able to give evidence. The defense calls Elaine Jones.
Oliver wasn't with us for very long. But he will be in my heart forever. When someone old dies, yeah, it's sad. Oliver was so young. And it seems so unfair. And I feel so angry and sad. But Oliver didn't like it when I was sad. He liked it when I was laughing. When he was making me laugh. He loved his toys. Especially his little red car. Whenever we were out and he saw a red car, he'd shout, "Red car, red car!" And that would always make me laugh. There are no words to describe how much I will miss him. But every time I see a red car, I will know that he's close. And I will remember how lucky I was to have him, even for that short time. I love you, Oliver.
Miss Jones, are you sure you're well enough to be here?
I'm exactly where I need to be.
Sarah, you're right.
Oh, yeah. It was the, funeral earlier. I just couldn't stop. It was so sad.
Oh, love.
Yeah, I just hate funerals. It just brings it all back about little Billy. Anyway, shall we do a little toast to two little angels, Oliver and Billy? Anyway, can I just say, I think it is dead cute that you and Peter are still together, because obviously, you know, I know you came clean about the one-night stand. I mean, I was there, wasn't I, at the factory? You know, the guy in the office. I mean, obviously I didn't see him, but I was there.
Sarah, should we think about going?
As we draw our service to a close, on behalf of Leanne and Steve, I would like to thank you all for coming and showing your love and support. Leanne has chosen this piece because it always made Oliver want to dance.
Hey, well, you got through that bit.
Well, now's the hardest part.
What have you got?
Amy and Emma are gonna look after Sam. Take him home.
It's your responsibility, Nick. You take him home.
Don't do this.
I just did.
Are we nearly ready to go?
Nearly.
Take your time.
Mummy's here, Oliver. Mummy's here.
We were married, me and Jeff. He was a real charmer at first. And then he changed.
He controlled everything. He controlled me. Who I saw, nobody. Where I went. Wouldn't give me any money. He forced himself on me and gave me infections. Because he was off with prostitutes every weekend. And when I tried to walk out on him, he hit me. Well, that was the final straw. In the end, I did get away. But I had to leave my baby, Timothy. I tried to get him back, but Jeff said if I came anywhere near them, he'd kill Timothy. He'd kill our baby. I was so scared. This is why it was easier for me to just let people think I was dead.
Can you tell us what happened in July of this year when you came to Weatherfield to seek out Mr. Metcalfe?
I read about the case in the paper. Yeah, I could not believe, all these years later, he was still making women's lives hell. And I wanted to see my son. A beautiful son.
Just thinking for a moment about Mr. Metcalfe's behaviour towards you this year, has he ever threatened you?
Yes. Yeah, he told me not to give evidence, or else.
And this was 4 months ago?
Yeah, and more recently than that. This was when I was in hospital. Last night.
You know, some people say when someone you love dies, in order to make themselves feel better, they look up to the stars. And when they see one twinkling, they think their loved one's up there. It's a bit daft, really. Stars are mostly made of hydrogen and helium and can only produce light because the nuclear forces in the cause. Sorry. I wrote a poem. Do you want to hear it?
Did you?
And I must point out, I'm not a poet. It's a bit out of my comfort zone, if I'm honest, but it felt appropriate.
I'd love to hear it.
I used to clap for the NHS every Thursday night at 8. But from now on, Oliver, I'm going to clap for you, because I thought you sounded great. You weren't here long, and that makes me sad. When I think of all the laughs we could have had. We could have gone stargazing in all the edge together. I wound up my silly old dad. Anyway, this is me saying farewell for now. I hope this poem did not grate. I'd really like to meet you one day, but I guess I'm going to have to wait.
Miss Jones, I'd just like to get some context here, if I may. You said yourself that you have quite a history of mental health problems. Is that correct?
Well...
Yes or no, Miss Jones? Don't want to keep you any longer than necessary, not in your condition.
Well, yes.
Thank you. And would you say...
Because of Jeff Metcalfe. Everything stems from him.
When you've gone through these episodes of severe mental imbalance...
I'm not stupid.
Is it right to say sometimes you've imagined things that weren't there, that didn't actually happen?
I didn't imagine Jeff turning up at the hospital last night and threatening me, if that's what you're implying.
Do you have any proof he was there?
Oh.
Maybe this was yet another in a worryingly long line of paranoid delusions that you suffer from time to time.
That's unfair. I haven't had any of that for years. I did not imagine it.
Well, where are the nurses who saw him? the doctors, the cleaners, the workers in the fast food concession as you enter Weatherfield, General.
Your Honour, I would care to request an adjournment to retrieve the CCTV from the hospital.
Your Honour, I object to that.
I am happy for steps to be taken, for the material to be obtained. However, in my experience, these matters can take significant time, as the hospital will take advice on any such requests for CCTV. As such, I am unwilling to adjourn the trial pending those investigations.
Sarah was a bit chatty earlier in the bar, wasn't she?
Was she?
Anonymous sex with a businessman, you told me, from a conference. And then she blurts out.
Listen, Sarah was drunk. You know what rubbish people spout when they're under the influence of Dr. Vino?
Ah, it's a veiled dig at my alcoholism. I was waiting for that. Please just talk to me.
Well, if I'm so predictable, why do you want me to?
I'm not angry at you,
Good.
but I do need to know if you lied to me about who you slept with.
Why do you have to keep going back to the scene of the crime? Hey, haven't I hurt you enough? Why do you have to keep picking at it like a saw? You're up to speed, okay? You know everything. I'm going for a bath.
You're on your own. I thought Toya was with you.
She was, and now she's not.
How was it? And look, I'm sorry about before. I had no idea Sam was going to turn up like that.
I know. I know, it's not your fault. None of this is anybody's fault. Not really. Just like nobody wanted Oliver to get sick and die. Now he has.
Of course.
Children are gifts. They should be cherished. I can't stand in the way of that, and nor do I want to.
Okay.
But I don't want to be around it either.
If we just give it some time.
No. No. I meant what I said. I love you and everything, but it's over. You need to forget about me and just concentrate on Sam.
Forget about you. Forget about you. Are you mad?
All I know is I woke up this morning and I thought we had a chance. But now I know I was wrong.
Leanne.
I'll move out tomorrow.
Might I also question why, when you didn't know her from Adam, you chose to go and visit Yasmin Metcalfe in prison earlier this year?
Well,
Are you still not over him?
Jeff.
Maybe you're still furious about your embittered breakup, all these years later. That you track down his next alleged victim and seek her out.
Well, at least you used the word victim.
And together you cook up a little plan to discredit your ex.
You know, even though you're a woman, you're very like him. putting words into my mouth, telling me how I behave and how I feel. Well, like him, you're wrong. I believe that Yasmin was fearing for her life on the night of the attack, just as I've spent a lifetime living in fear of that man. But I'm not afraid anymore. So please, stop putting words into my mouth. We concocted nothing. We've simply told our truths. There's really nothing more to be said.
Well, Elaine was amazing, wasn't she?
An inspiration. Me, on the other hand.
No, Gran. You were great. They're gonna find in your favour.
Elaine and I, we have our stories, nothing more. Jeff, the prosecution, they have the facts and the evidence.
Gran.
Anyway, it shouldn't be too long to wait now. We'll soon know, one way or the other. Maybe even tomorrow.
If you've been affected by issues raised in tonight's programme, you can visit itv.com/advice for support information.